Welcome. Right. This is Richard Roop, and this is Open Q&A Tuesday for December 12th, 2020. Welcome, everybody. You're more than welcome to say hello. Unmute yourself.
Hey, how's it going?
Candace, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Where are you located?
Georgia?
Okay. We got a little snow flurries here in Texas. What's the weather out there in Georgia?
Hot and windy.
All right. Looks like people are getting in. I might have to let people in on the way. I don't have my co-pilot here yet. All right. Let's see. Let me go ahead and view, speaker view, gallery view. Okay. All right. This is Open Q&A. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have on anything related to your real estate investing business, your goals, the free and clear investing model, ultimate strategy, ultimate profit generator. Nobody sent me any deals to go over with the ultimate profit generator, so we might be able to do some if anybody's got some deals to work. We'll see if we can do that. But basically, we're going to do open Q&A. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Good, Richard. How are you? I do have a deal if you want to throw one in there.
Oh, you do have a deal? All right. Let me go ahead and pull up my UPG here. Let's see. November demo. Okay, demo. All right, I'm gonna I do have that up and I'm ready to work on that. We're gonna start, we'll start with some open Q&A first and see what people have to. All right, see if anybody has some questions, because that will take some good time, Jeff, or a few minutes to go through that. What kind of deal do you got? Is it a free and clear property?
No, they actually have a mortgage on it. It's a rental property right now. They needs a lot of updating, and they don't want to be a landlord, and I'm sensing they don't have the money for the updating. So we think we found their pain point.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. That will be a subject to your loan information if it's not free and clear.
So I know what they owe, and brain cramp, I got what they're getting for rent, but then I had that number in my mind, forgot to ask them what their payments are. So I've got to find that out. I'm actually meeting with them on Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. We'll go with the best numbers you got, and
Okay.
I'll show you how that works and what we need. Okay. All right. So before we work on Jeff's deal, he's got a deal to work on. And let me ask you this, Jeff. What is the after repaired value?
120, well, let's say 130.
And how much do they owe?
76.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and work that. All right. Who has come to the table today that has any questions for me? Let's start there. Or do you want me to work on the deal structure with Jeff? All right. So we can work on the deal structure, and then as people come in, they may, have some questions about that or anything else. So I will go ahead and admit. Oh, there's Damien. Okay. Damien's my co-pilot here. Let me get him as co-host. Damien.
Good afternoon, good sir.
Okay, I'm going to make you a co-host.
All righty.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on some deal structuring right up front here with Jeff. And then anybody who has any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat. Damien's going to be watching for that. And you can also then later when we're done, I'll open up again to any questions that people have. Okay, because this call is for you guys. I have no agenda. I'm just, you go ahead and use me. All right. All right. So Roop with richardroop.com, and this is our first Q&A, open Q&A call that I haven't done for like 5 or 6 years. And we're also going to be able to do some deal structuring, because I usually do that for the people that own my software. We used to have weekly deal structuring program drop-in calls. So we're going to start that up. So this is kind of a combo. And I'm going to, Damien, if you want to go ahead and make sure everybody's muted out, I'm going to go ahead with, except for Jeff, I'm going to go with Jeff. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to the Ultimate Profit Generator. And you see that, Jeff?
Yes, I do.
All right. Let's go ahead and we don't need external content right now, so I'll turn that off. And go ahead and admit people, Damien, and keep an eye out for that. All right. And I want to get rid of the head. Try that. Okay. So when we have a new deal, Jeff, and do you have this, Jeff? Do you have this program?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you have version 3.05, do you think?
I think it is. I mean, I have
Okay.
every version since number 1, so I think I have 3.05 too.
Okay. All right. Let's go to, we have a new deal, so we go to new. All right. What state's it in?
Wisconsin?
And what kind of property is it?
Single family?
And your exit is to sell it to a tenant buyer or terms buyer?
Correct.
And how much in repairs?
Well, that's what I'm going to find out Wednesday, but based upon what they said, I'm imagining it's at least, well, let's say 20. We'll work on it that way.
All right. And is it currently occupied with a tenant?
It is, yes.
Okay. Would you do the work while they're there or later, or would you, are you going to lose any, are you going to have any holding time doing the work to the property?
So I would tell you, I'm going to give myself 90 days, 30 days to probably ask the tenant to leave and 60 days to get the work done.
Okay. They're on a month to month.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to go to the seller tab, and down here, I'm going to put, what are they paying for rent?
$870.
$870. Okay. And they're on a month to month.
Correct.
So we're going to say 3 months to that. We're not going to get our market rent. So I'll show you how that works.
So I have a question for you about that. Now,
Yeah.
one of the parts of the deal that I'm going to try to work here is to ask for the seller to continue to make 3 payments. Do I still have to include that months left on the lease?
Let's hold off on that. We'll see where we're going to put that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. So now we have, it's currently occupied. So it's tenant occupied now. And we're going to go ahead and put a month of rehab in there, see how that works. All right. What is the after repaired value?
130?
That's after putting that money into it, right?
Correct.
All right. And then what would you sell it to? I would sell it to the existing tenant or someone else. What would you sell it for with terms? Fixed up.
Well, fixed up, I'm thinking of asking 145.
Okay, if you can get 145, you can get 147.5. I just made you $2,500.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. All right. What is the market rent?
Market rent there should be $1,200.
All right, $1,195. Okay. And your property taxes, looks like it says West Virginia.
You know, property taxes there are $2,200, $3.67.
Hold on one second.
So $2,200.
I'm seeing a little issue here. It's telling me it's West Virginia, but okay. So the taxes, the
$2,200.
much a year?
$2,200.
2,200. Okay. This is actually pretty close. So I'll do a custom 2100, 2200. All right. And what would be the insurance?
700.
Uh, let's see. Tech insurance, 700.
700.
All right. And how much money do you want to get back on your marketing spent to find this deal?
So are you asking what I want to take out of it right off the bat, or what are you asking?
All right. And by the way, did you spend any money finding this deal?
Yeah, I bought my list.
Okay.
I'm
So
paying
how
somebody to
much
do
do you
the,
want? I recommend you get all your marketing back. If you put out $2,100 and you get 2 deals, right? Then I would get 1,050 back on this one. So, yeah, I think you should reimburse yourself for the money for finding the deal in marketing. So, if it was a referral, it might be none. So, just give me a number.
so I'm gonna tell you $2,500.
Okay. So I don't think you should have any marketing money tied up in your deal. You should get that back when you close. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then how much extra cash do you want to pull out when you buy it? 5, 10, 15, 20?
When I
30?
buy it, I'd like to get 10.
Okay. All right. That's extra cash to you. So you'll get 10 plus 2,500 to reimburse your marketing. All right. And then got to get my navigation windows out of my way here. Let's see. Do you have to pay any utilities while it's occupied by a tenant?
No, well, I take that back. I do have to pay the water bill. So for that 30 days, it'd be about $70.
All right, $75. All right. And you don't need a property manager, right? Because it's in
No,
your area?
no.
All right. And what is transfer tax in Wisconsin?
$3 a thousand. So you're right on with what you have in there.
Great. All right. So this is our program. Everything looks good here. All right. So costs. These are just typical costs. You might do some home inspections. You might get an appraisal, right?
On this deal, I wouldn't get an appraisal. I'd probably get an inspection, and they run 350 here.
Okay. So I'm not going to be worried too much about all these closing costs. We'll get in the ballpark. I'll send you a copy of this when we're done. You can play with it. All right. The lost income due to the lease, right now we have about $975. So we'll collect that. And these are your back end costs. Not a big deal. All right. Your funding. All right. Would you fund this deal with the private money first?
Well, the goal is to try to take this over subject to.
Oh yeah, subject to.
Yeah, and wrap this. That's kind
Okay.
of my goal here.
All right. Do you have any private money that you could put on a second, like up to 70% or 75% LTV?
I don't. That's one of my projects is to find a private money lender. I am wearing my mother down. She might be my first one.
Okay. All right. All right. There you go. All right. Let's plan on if we want to fund the deal. We want a self-funding deal. So let's see if there's any equity where we can give someone 9% on a second, up to 75% loan to value, interest only payments. And there's our cash offer. Okay, so now what we got to do, let's go to our updates. Minimum profit per deal, it's kind of low priced home, but let's say 50,000. And let's go ahead and get at least, let's try 7,000 a year held. And we're not going to have any appreciation for 72 months. What do you think about your market? Do you want to no appreciation for 72 months or for a shorter period of time?
Well, I would, yeah, in this market where we are at, I would say no appreciation for 72 months is probably appropriate.
Okay. All right, we have 0% interest to the seller. And we got to go to the loans tab because it has a loan. So
Right.
loans. All right, how much, what's the principal balance now?
76,000.
And if you were to guess, what is their principal and interest payment? Because you told me you didn't know.
Yeah, I know that they bought this, let's see here. They bought this in 97, so I'm guessing they've refinanced it. They must have maybe 750 a month for their principal and interest and their taxes and their insurance.
No, I need principal and interest only. So
Principal and interest, then I would probably tell you to 550.
yeah, I put it down here in the PI calculator based on the current taxes and
Okay.
insurance. It's about 508.
Okay, that's probably right.
All right, so if I put 508 here, and how long do you think the existing loan has been on the property?
Well, I'm sure they've done a refinance, so I'm going to guess that it's been on the property for 4 years,
Okay, 48 months.
right?
And you have any idea what their interest rate is?
Their interest rate, I think, is 3.75.
3.75. So this is going to calculate in the pink. Let's see. Let me put 76,000 here for see what happens here. They owe 76, the payment 48 months, 30-year loan. Well, based on that interest, it's saying that they borrowed 109. But they would have paid. Okay, I'm trying to figure out if I could figure this out. Let's see.
Well, since they've owned it so long, I'm not so sure that it's a 30-year amortization. I'm going to guess that they probably have maybe 180, 15 years.
You think it might be a 15-year? That might make more
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it's saying I really need the loan information. So,
Yeah, and I messed up on that. So
because the payment, yeah, it's just not working out.
not working. Yeah. I will know about that tomorrow. But yeah, that was the one, that was a major boo-boo.
Let me just see if I don't have enough numbers to with the financial calculator to calculate it. So payment, and are you pretty sure about that interest rate?
I'm guessing at that just based upon what it might have been a few years ago. Maybe the rate's higher. I mean, maybe the rate's 4.25 or 5.
Okay,
So
well,
what?
yeah. And we're guessing on the payment too.
Right.
See, it's saying that if they borrowed 85 at 5%, 30 years, the payment should be 456. They'd owe 79 now. So maybe they borrowed 80. Oh. Let me share my screen. I admitted someone in. Okay. I was trying to admit somebody. All right, 84, 75.
That's my job.
All right. I'll just go ahead and put 75 here. And the payment is not correct, so it's saying that they'll, I'm going to go ahead and put, says they borrowed 84,000, 84, 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't work because there's too many zeros. That's getting close. That's getting close. Okay, let's say that they've made 75 payments. All right, so we got the payment and the principal balance pretty correct here. Pretty close. This is a 5.1 interest. There you go. That's pretty close. All right, it's close enough for now. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So we got a loan in there. We don't have a second loan. So these are zeros. These are zeros. All right. So now let's go ahead and take a look at offer number one. And it says private money first needed is 42,000. Now it's a subject to. It says remaining equity is 40. That means because of the 75% loan to value, you're minus 40,000 in equity. Okay. So on a subject to deal, you have to bring in a private money second, right? To money out and fix it. Okay. You also have to fix it, right?
Correct. There are repair costs.
So what do you think about selling this on sweat equity?
Well, that's another option, definitely, depending upon what is needed there, but that's definitely an option. Definitely an option.
Yeah, that might be the way to go on this. So I'll set this up for 15 years, 12, 9, and then 7. And you're giving them debt relief. We don't have to give them any, let's go ahead and give them no money down.
Right.
And we'll run it that way first. And then let's go ahead and give them the RTO net on a payment. We have a rent exit. That should be a rent to own exit. And Damien, I just admitted someone. Are you watching that?
Yep, I just let a couple people in, so that must have flashed up just now. I said blink, but you cut it.
Okay. Now we have some warnings over here. Let's see. Okay. No money down. We're going to give them. Now, why would you buy this? Either for cash now or cash flow. Okay. So let's go to the new tab. We got to reduce the amount. Number one, let's take out unless we bring in a second, let's see what's the least we can get by with in here. No money to you. So you're going to take the cash flow. We'll go ahead and reimburse your marketing. What if we sold it as is to the tenant? We say, hey, look, it's 147.5 fixed up, make offer as is. Okay. And according to this, it's probably worth about 106 as is. What do you think it would appraise for as is?
Well, again, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to guess it's probably going to appraise in that maybe 100,000 range based upon what other comparable properties right in that few block area have sold for recently. I'm going to guess right in that 100,000 range.
Right. And it says that they would net 98 with an agent. That's our sell net sheet. Okay. So let's go to the new tab and let's go ahead and set this up on a sweat equity basis. So let's take out the repairs and we'll just make it like $500.
Okay.
And there's no extra time. It is tenant occupied. Our resale price, we'll go ahead and probably sell it as is for, we might get 137.5, but
As is with a sweat equity deal?
okay, so 147, what's 20 grand less? That's 127.
127.5, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get more than that because you're offering terms.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that they'll probably offer you, if you say it's 130, you would sell it for 175 fixed up, make offer as is. You're probably going to get 127 or more as an offer because you're financing them. So let's do 127.5.
Okay.
And now let's take a look at how much money we need. We got some equity available. We got $8,300 available. Okay. All right. So we have some warnings. The balloon payment. You see these warnings over here?
Right.
All right. So the balloon payment is negative. So we actually want to, we're giving the seller too much money. So we go ahead and take rent to own net minus 100. Now you got some cash flow. In fact, we thought about you just keeping all the cash flow.
Well, that was my objective. That's my
Okay,
first offer. I mean, I'm wanting to do this with nothing.
I know, because you're not pulling money out, right?
Right.
Now it looks like you could pull 7,000 out, give it to the seller, or 8,000. You can give it to the seller, or you could give it to yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at our offers. Our offers, offer number one is for 15 years. It's $167,000, taking over 76,000. We got to verify that, right? With a deferred down payment. Okay, your deferred down payment is 91,000 in 15 years. Okay, that's what I call that. So that's a 15-year plan. No monthly payments, no accrued interest. All right. Now, if we went with a 7-year plan, it's 119, which is a good price on a house that's 20 grand at work, right? Give them debt relief and then give them 43,500 later in 7 years. So if they didn't want to go 15 years, you can go 12, 9, 7. So what I would normally do is print this out, and this is my highest price offer. This gives you the highest price. I'm actually going to go ahead and save this. Should probably, yeah, I'll just save it. Okay. Now, what you could do, and that requires a private money second of $7,200. Now, Jeff, when you take it subject to, you've done that before, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so we don't actually have all these costs, do we?
No.
Title insurance to a lender?
Nope.
You need that. Lender appraisal
No.
fee. So would you close it yourself?
No, I typically get title insurance.
Okay.
So I do have the title company close it, but they don't charge me anything because we use this title company for our retail brokerage.
Okay. Now, this lost income due to the lease, we'll go ahead and take that out. And
If they're going to buy it, right?
Up our profit a little bit and cover it. But let's take a look. Now that's what other money? If you sell it to the we got $500 for fix up. Oh, the price is actually, we thought the as-is price is probably, at least like 108 or 106 or something.
Right.
And that automatically changed our resale price. So we got to put it back. Okay, our resale price as is. Can we get 127.5? Let's do 119.5 as is. And we can go ahead and try, like I said, 147.5 fixed up, make offer as is. Still got good prices here. We need 5,000, we need 5,400. What do we need the money for? To reimburse your marketing.
Right.
Okay. You do have to pay the hazard insurance, right?
Correct.
We got the insurance, transfer tax. I think we're pretty good here on costs. Would you do a home inspection? You would, right?
I probably would in this case, yes.
Okay, so you are going to be out of pocket, but so it's going to cost you about $3,000 to get a free house. Does that sound about right?
I can live with that.
All right, but you want to get that money from your buyer, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we have a warning that there's no equity to borrow this 3,000. That's fine. We're not going to borrow it. Okay. So here's our offers. And those look pretty good, don't they, Jeff?
They look real good.
They look real good. So you could they almost look too good.
I would say that.
You could up your profit to 8,000 a year and take a look at your offers, and they're still good.
Right.
You can play with your profit margin there. Right now, on a 15-year deal, if they took that, your profit is 120,000, 8,000 a year for 15 years, plus bonus profit for the money you give to the seller, and there is none.
No.
So what happens if you gave the seller all of the income, RTO net, then your profit target's 136 instead of 120. That's to compensate you for not getting that cash. So we could offer them $200 a month. So they don't, that's another offer, right? It lowers our prices. So our price is 141, 107 to 141. We take all the cash flow. It's 111 to 149. So it does up our offers by having no payments. So what kind of scenarios do you want to see on this?
Well, I was looking at the wrap, and I was looking at the lease option, and cash. I know what the cash is right there.
Yeah.
But that this basically is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. The cash offer is actually less than what they owe.
Right. So I can't even do that. And I suspected that would be the case. So.
And the cash offer is based on our formula right here, 65% minus repairs. That's our cash, 65% minus repairs is 68.4. But we're using the as-is price with no repairs. So.
Right.
We could actually pay 71 based on the cash available LTV. So, but yeah, we're in the same ballpark. About 70,000 would be a cash offer. Okay, so
one question I do have. So as an example, I could be my own second private money lender if I wanted to. So I would just
yes.
So
if you put any money into the deal, I would actually create a note that you could actually sell to someone else later.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yep. You could go ahead and, whatever money you need on this deal, let's say, you need $3,000 or whatever, $5,000, go ahead and give yourself $5,000, give yourself a note for the $5,000, pay yourself interest, but set the note up so that you could actually sell it for $5,000 to somebody else.
Sure.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Okay.
I think there was something else I wanted to show you on this. But now, of course, you're going to have to verify the loan information.
Right.
And let's see. Okay, you said something about a wrap. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our wrap terms on how much would you get down from a tenant a wraparound buyer? How much would you want down? What percent?
So I would want at the minimum, if I was going 147.5, I'd say 15,000 at the bare minimum.
What percentage? 10%?
10%.
Yeah. All right. And then what interest rate would you charge?
I'd want to be at least 5. So 4.99.
And then a 30-year AM. Okay?
Correct.
Okay. So your wrap PITI looks like it's 818. Is that right?
Right.
Let's verify that. We'll go over here to the new tab. And on the rent, you can select wrap PITI, which is, if that was going to be your income, you could select it. So that is now, but this isn't using the 147.5. This is using the 119.5. Okay. So you could select that if you thought that was going to be your income, but now it looks like you'd be better off renting it. Why would you wrap it?
I don't want to have anything to do with that property. Basically just want to get it off my plate. A lot of this white hair, Richard, is from tenants.
Okay. Have you dealt with tenant buyers?
Sure. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. We can go that route.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't want to
deal with a straight tenant either.
Yeah. So with the tenant buyer, I mean, I kind of like that because likely I'll get the property back and I can do this all over again.
And you've kept your hair from going wherever it's going to go.
Right.
All right. So that would be the plan. You could always sell it on a wrap. But in that case, yeah, get more, get a lot of money down if you sell it on a wrap. And then, but in this case, we're planning the tenant buyer. In fact, let's take a look at our rent to own program. Let's see, that's going to be on our quick tab. So right now we're actually giving the tenant buyer $200 a month credit towards buying the house for the first 12 months. We're only planning on getting 2.5% down, which you should go for the 3 to 5, of course.
Right.
And then if they don't give you 5% down, then they're going to give you $80 a month extra to build it up to the 5%. Actually, it should be, $80 to build it up to the 5%. So it's taking that into account. Either you got 5% down without the extra income, or you're getting that extra income to build it up. The rent credits only last for 12 months, and we expect them to close or disappear within 36 months and then do it again. So they're either going to close or not. All right. Well, that one's done then.
Yeah, it's not going to be a hit it out of the park deal, but it's reasonable.
Well, what would make it hit it out of the park? You mean because you're not getting a bunch of cash, you're just getting cash flow.
Right.
Oh yeah. So you definitely, here's the deal. You might have a buyer come in and as their down payment, go ahead and fix it up before they move in. Now you have a fixed up house. That would be nice.
That would be awesome. Absolutely.
But otherwise, you could also just, have them take it as is and give you 15 or 20 grand down. That would be nice. So you have a lot of options, and you do. It is generating the cash flow for you. So you're getting $457 a month cash flow. That's pretty good.
Yes.
And you're targeting $120,000 profit. Now that's on a 15-year deal. So let's say they went 7 years. It's 56,000 over 7 years. That includes the cash flow, 38,000 in cash flow, 14,000 later, 3,000 from your tenant buyer. That's 2.5%. Cash flow increases. We don't have any increases for 6 years. So hold it long. Oh,
one
there's
question
other
I do
bonuses.
have. What's that?
There's other reasons, Jeff, by the way. When you do a deal like this, there's a good chance that the seller, if they're waiting for their money along the way, the longer the better, along the way with what's going on in the economy, they might need your help to get some of that money early.
Mm-hmm.
And then that spells bonus profit by getting the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And of course, you also have a property with a 0% loan that you can move to other property and, sell this and then move this note to other property and turn debt equity on other property into 0% finance. Sound good?
Absolutely. So I have one question on these. So let's say they agree on 7 years. They don't want to go longer, but we work a provision where, for maybe, I don't know, $2,500, they'll give me another 3 or 5 years. Is there a way to work that into this calculator?
Yes, probably. You want me to figure it out now? I don't know. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, there's a way to do that, but we'd have to figure it out.
Okay. Well, I was just curious. I mean, because I have found with some of the deals that I've done in the past, particularly when people don't really know you, they've seen your, oh gosh, can't even think of it, credibility kit and that type of thing, but they're still a little hesitant. And I've had people, they'll go 5 years, but if I want 7 or 8, I've had to negotiate something.
Okay.
Once they get the comfort level, then they're good.
Well, okay. So I'd get good at answering that. Say, hey, look, the longer you go, the easier it is for me to make sure I keep all of my agreements with the uncertainty in the future and all that. That's why I like to go long term. That's, I'm willing to wait for my money, but I understand that, you don't know who I am and all that. So how about if we did 5 years? And if you're happy and I kept all my agreements, I get to extend that another 5 years. And if I do that, then I'll also, you could do a principal, you can give them partial principal reduction payment, start paying them monthly payments. You could start paying them interest. You could do something after that 5 years or not. Okay. But yeah, I would ask them, okay, I only want to go 5 years because I'm not comfortable going longer. Then I would get to the, what are you concerned about? And then I would say, well, as long as that didn't happen over the next 5 years, you would probably be, as long as you're happy with the program, would you be willing to go further? If you agree to that now, then I'll go ahead and do this for you now. Otherwise, you go ahead and just, what usually does it is you just agree with them and you say, no problem. And then what we do is we make a 5-year offer, right? And we just contrast it, and maybe we start moving forward. This happens a lot. We start moving forward with the 5-year offer, and then I'll say, and now after they get to know me and everything, we're getting ready to close. It's like, so just before, okay, I'm getting set up for closing. I just want to verify you don't want to go like 9 years for the 119. You rather go 98. Then at that point they might say, you know what, let's go to 9. But I like that idea of working something into the agreement.
Okay. That's a good idea. Another alternative for handling that concern is showing these numbers. So.
Oh, that's what does it. As long as they trust you, as long as they can go further out and they want the higher money, they'll do it. And if they're okay with the 98, and look, and in this case, it looks like they might net 92 with an agent. and you're offering 98.
Hmm.
Quick, you just sell it with the existing tenant, sell it as is. Yeah, they don't have the money to fix it up. All the reasons that you know,
Right.
and all the reasons you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Never know. You'll never know which of these offers they're going to take. So always make sure you're happy with them taking any of them. Okay.
Personally, if they could take any one, I'd be thrilled with these numbers.
All right. Well, good. Well, these are good numbers.
Okay.
These are good offers. Does anybody have any questions about the deal that we just did with Jeff?
Yes. What's a good standard like the flow of interviewing the seller versus putting the information on the ultimate profit generator? Like is there a good flow of input or order that's good for asking questions or the interview process?
Yeah, we have some scripts on taking the calls from the sellers. In fact, in here we have it's called the seller tab. Okay. So on the seller tab, this is almost like my property information sheet. So when I'm talking to the seller, when they call, we're not, okay, hold on one second. Share my screen again. All right. So we're not pre-screening for motivation. We're pre-screening for equity. So if they have a lot of equity, if they owe, 50 cents or less, 50 cents on the dollar or less on the property, we have equity that we can play with and push the price up. Okay. So on a seller information sheet, we go ahead and we get their name, we get the property address. Okay. We get their contact information. So I tell a seller, hey, just give me a few details about the property and I'll go ahead and do some research, crunch my numbers, and I'll call you back and we'll set up a time to meet again, either, on Zoom or on the phone or at the property, whatever you can do. You always want to go meet with them if you can. Okay. It's not required, especially today. We can actually buy virtually now. So as you're gathering information on the property, you're gathering information so you can pull comps. Okay. So the square footage, lot size, year built, and then you want information that you can look up, but you want to get it from them: taxes, insurance, homeowners dues, any utilities that they might be paying. If it's a rental, ask them, well, how much rent are you getting? How long have they been there? How many months left on the lease? What's left on the lease? And if they're getting $870 a month, Jeff, when you found out that they were getting $870 a month, did you ask them what they thought the market rent would be? You're muted. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I did not ask them that. No. I have a pretty good idea of what it should be, being that I have the brokerage business. So I feel pretty comfortable with that rent rate I gave you. It should be, minimum 11. We could probably get 12 for that house.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually used 11.95.
Yeah.
Now, but I like to, the seller would say, yeah, I could get 900 or whatever. That's fine. Or they can say, yeah, it should be 1200. And I like to ask them, well, why aren't you getting 1200? So, but sometimes on the surface, sometimes they have a good idea, and that's just, you can always verify it. So I ask them, what are they getting on rent? And if I find out that they're renting it below market, I almost know I can offer them more than they're netting. Because on this one, if I go to rent net, this is part of our negotiations with the seller. Look, Jeff, they're not netting anything. If that loan information is correct, it's a break even for them.
Right.
So by you buying the house and not giving them any money, guess what? They're not getting any money now.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
Okay. So we'll go back to the seller. All right. So we go ahead and ask them the WOW formula. Okay. The WOW formula is when you want to sell, what have you done to find a buyer or get, to sell the property already? Is it free and clear, or do you have a mortgage? That's what they owe. Is it free and clear, or do you have a mortgage? Okay. And then, and then we want to know why they're selling, but a lot of times we don't ask. We just, but I want to know, and sometimes it just comes up with those questions. What have you done to sell the house? And sometimes it's been FSBO, it's been listed or whatever. And then you can ask, what were you asking? And then it's like, do you think it would appraise for that? So you get their idea of the value. Okay. Then it's like, how much do you owe? If it's free and clear, look, you got that. There's so many ways to make money on that deal. You don't want to be making offers on the phone. The only time you make offers on the phone is if you don't want to buy the house, or if you're just trying to blow them out of the water, you're trying to pre-screen them. Okay. Hey, Chris, can you keep it down a little bit there, buddy? He's putting oil on the door so it doesn't squeak, but he's slamming the door while he's doing it. Good one, buddy. All right, let's see. So the WOW formula. So that's in the free and clear cash machine, and we have the scripts that we take through a property information sheet. So you want to gather their contact information, then enough information so that you can pull comps and do some research and pull out the numbers that they can help you, so you can put in the UPG. Now, while you're doing that, you're looking to build rapport and find out the other things like why they want to sell and what have they done. Now, as far as repairs, Jeff, I ask them, does it need any work, or is it in perfect shape? And then they say, well, it needs a little bit of work. And I say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10 on the inside of the property, what would you give it? And they say a 7. And I say, okay, great. What type of things would I do to bring it up to a 9 or a 10? So that can help, get some idea with that before you've seen it, what the repairs are. Same, okay, on the outside, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it? What would bring it up to a 9 or a 10? So that's part of this, property information sheet. Work done. Have you done any work to the property recently? What kind of work have you done to the property? Now, this is 2 things. Number 1, you find out that it has a new roof. But number 2, if you go over here on the rent net, if they're a landlord, vacancies, repairs, maintenance, they say, oh, I haven't had any, right? Or, but you did a roof 5 years ago. When you amortize that over time, you got repairs and maintenance, right? So it's sometimes they like to brag about the money that they recently spent on the property, but later you can use that and point that's actually reduced their cash flow. Mm-hmm. Now the loan information is put here just as a reference. We have to put it on the loans tab. And then you can use this as, what are their hot buttons? What's your next step? So you can kind of use this as a tool. Now, the question on what is the flow, does that help answer that question, or what questions do you have on that? Who asked that question?
Oh, I did. Yeah, that's it makes a lot more sense. So the information you put on here was spread to all the other areas where the information is needed.
Okay, good. Yeah. In fact, when we put seller's estimated value here later on the new tab, we can actually pull it. We can say, what is the after repaired value? We can say, from the seller tab, we can pull it from there. We also have a research tab, which I have to kind of update, but it's pretty cool because if you go to the quick tab and you put in the address, it creates a hyperlink. Let's go ahead and change this to Florida. This is a Florida. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'll just leave it. But this is address in Florida, and it creates a hyperlink, and you click on that, and it'll automatically Google it. Wow. And that's a lot of information. And then this is kind of dated, so I have to update this. There's so many ways to research properties these days. This might be useful, but a lot of this information is a lot easier to find, right, Jeff? It's yeah, absolutely. All right. Who else has some questions about this deal that we went through, or anything else?
Richard, there's a question in the chat from Max. Says, what if we do not have access to private money for our deals at this time? How can you reflect not using private money in the UPG?
Okay. You're going to have to, what you want to do, if you don't have any private money, like in this one, we can't really bring in private money because there's a first mortgage and there's not much equity. Okay. In fact, we have negative equity here. Okay. So if it needs money, we have to come to the table. If you don't have private money, what you got to do, if you don't have equity to pull from, you got to do exactly what we did here, which is reduce the need for private money. So you sell it as is with no money. Before I do that, let me save this before I screw it all up. All right. So you get rid of, you sell it as is. You sell it upon finding a buyer, so you don't have any hold times. You know, you get an option, or you. Oh, by the way, Jeff, yeah, you're going to get 3 months of payments. That's going to help with that 3,000. If you don't have any payments for 3 months, and you get income for 3 months, then that'll help cover your buy cost. So option or upon buyer, that's no holding costs. You have to use it as is price like we did. You do have, typically you pay a whole year's worth of insurance when you buy a property. That's why it costs a couple thousand at least when you get a free house subject to. You will need some money to buy a house. So what we talked about with Jeff is maybe if he puts in $5,000 into the deal, he'd go ahead and put a private money. Here's the deal. He's taken over a first. He puts himself at a private money second, a $5,000 note to himself, and then the seller's in third position. That allows him to sell that second mortgage to someone else and get his $5,000 back. But you do want to, it's so easy to put together a private lender program, learn how to do it. It's in the free and clear cash machine. I have a whole program called Raising Millions in Private Money. We always cover it at our boot camp trainings. In fact, we have a boot camp coming up in January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. I'm going to teach the entire process. Marketing for these free and clear deals, how to find these deals, get sellers calling you. Then buying, how to talk to the seller and how to negotiate offers like we're doing here. And then funding. How do you fund these deals? We fund them not with your money. We're going to fund them with a private money first, or maybe a private money second. We're going to take over existing loans, like in this case, and we're going to have the seller do the financing. We're not going to deal with any banks or your money. We're not going to use your money or banks. Okay. Or now that's funding. And when you understand how simple it is to raise private money and you do it right, then it's really easy. And then I'm lining up these sources that where I can actually fund your deals. If you're part of our program, you can use our private money, okay? But these free and clear properties, the strategy is buy a house, fund the deal with the equity. So let's say it's free and clear. Fund the deal with your equity in the house, plus put an extra 10 or 20 grand in your pocket the day you buy. That requires private money. So you can eliminate on a subject to deal. Let's say it was free and clear. We could offer no money down to the seller, but it's got to be in good shape, or you got to be able to sell it as is. You got to reduce all your closing costs. But when you're buying a free and clear house with seller financing, you're going to close it with a title company. In fact, Jeff closes his subject to deals with a title company. So you need private money. So you got to learn how to do private money. Otherwise, you reduce all of your needs for money on the deal, so that it only costs you a few $1,000 and you can get that few $1,000 back from your buyer. Okay. Like in this case, maybe we didn't have the money to fund the deal, and we need right now, maybe the seller insisted on $2,000 down. Okay. So we need $5,000 to close this deal. Then I would say, look, I will close. Let me go ahead and find my buyer. I'm going to let my buyer, I have some potential buyers. I'm going to have them fix up the property, but I got to confirm with them. As soon as I've contracted with my buyer, I need to show it. Then I'll go ahead and close, take over the loan, give you your $2,000 and start making the payments. And in this case, 3 months after that. So does that answer the question on private money? Oh, and by the way, on YouTube, I think that was a question about the free and clear model on my YouTube channel. There's 7 frequently asked questions, which I'm actually going to be pulling down here. And I posted them recently in Facebook. I'm going to put them into Rupodia. And there's one of those, I think, is how do you do these deals without private money? And I actually spent about an hour on it. So, does that help answer that question?
Richard, I had a question. If we're done with that one, then firstly, hi, nice to see you. But my question was, if you were doing these without postcards and you were doing them all just online without actually being there, doing everything virtually 100% from start to finish,
Okay.
how would you go about doing that? Insofar as getting the deal all the way through. So, I mean, if I have info, I've already talked to a seller, which I actually do have. I need to put this together, and I'm hoping to figure it all out here by using the UPG over here. So I'm just wondering how you'd go about that. Like, I can provide you with some numbers, the ones that I do have, and I have an agent that we work with in our team to do lease options. That's what I'm doing mainly. But is there a way, or is there like a method, or how would you go about doing it?
Okay, you got some numbers to run on this now?
I do, but they're basic, and I haven't really dived deep into it. I was going to put aside some time to do it, but I can give you some of the numbers. Let me just make sure I pull up the right ones. Hold on, give me 1 second.
All right. I just saved this as a different name. Okay, what state's it in?
It's in Georgia. I don't want to do the address just yet because I don't have an agreement with them yet.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
yeah. So it's the house he's asking for. He's
tell you
asking.
what, Ken is. Let me ask you a few questions. Okay.
Go for it. Sure.
All right. Would you sell it with terms?
I would sell it with a lease option,
Okay.
or I would rent it out, one or the other.
Okay. And then how much work does it need?
He said that it's like he's got it at 240 right now, and he reckons that after a rehab, it'll go for like about 20 to 30,000 in rehab. He reckons it'll go for 270.
So, Candace, if you want me to do this now, and let's just burn through it. Okay. Go ahead and give me some numbers, and if I need you to expand on it, we'll do that. And if it's important, go ahead and expand on it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I might not have the numbers because I only have the initial.
right.
This is
So
only on my second
we're going to
conversation.
use this
with him.
as an example. Okay. So,
Okay, perfect.
all right. So, how much in repairs?
I think he was saying 20 to 30, somewhere in that neighborhood. He wants to do paint initially. And
Okay,
just
so you're
some of the
giving me the
basics,
story. So I don't need
Yeah.
the story.
Okay, I'm trying to answer your question, but I don't have exact numbers. So
I know you don't. So just give me something to use. So you
Right.
want me 20 or 30?
let's go with 20.
Okay. And is it occupied now with the tenant?
Tenant's just leaving.
Okay. So it's going to be vacant when you get it, right?
Right.
Okay. And if you did 20,000 in work, we figure 60 days to get it fixed up and occupied. Do you need any extra time?
I think he said he could get it done in 3 weeks. So he'd probably like
okay.
45 days.
What? Give me a after repaired value, your best guess.
265, 270.
All right. 265 or 270.
Yep.
All right. And then what would you, if you sold it to a tenant buyer, would you ask 269.5 or 277?
If I was selling it to a tenant buyer, I'd want him to put 5% down. So
No, I'm asking for a price, a resale price.
If I was reselling it, 275.
Okay. So we're going to sell it for 277.5. I just made you $2,500 because you can get 270. You can get 277.5.
All right.
All right.
I won't say no to that.
what's the market rent? Best guess.
I had this one. Hold on. I've got, so the rent was $1,750.
All right. And they're currently it was $1,750. Okay. You could probably get $1,795 from a tenant buyer, right?
Right.
Okay. And do you have any idea what the taxes would be?
No, I don't, because this is new to me,
Okay, I'm
so
gonna
I
go ahead
don't
and
have
use-
these numbers.
I'm going to go ahead and use Georgia low. Okay.
Okay.
And then insurance, any idea?
No, I don't know these things. That's why I'm sort of like asking if how you do it.
I'm showing you how I quickly go through an example by just, if you don't know, I will pick a number because I have some idea.
Okay.
So I'll do 1,250. We're going to go ahead and give you $700 for marketing back, and we're going to go ahead and put 10 or 20,000 in your pocket, or 15. How much you want to pull out of the deal?
20 would be nice.
All right, let's see what 20 looks like. All right. And then we'll say utilities are, $100 while it's vacant. Let's see. No property manager. Let's see. Transfer tax. You're in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And costs. These are all okay. Good enough. Funding. Okay. Do you have a private lender program? Do you have private money?
I could probably get it pretty quickly. I have a list that I already built out of people that are interested in funding these kind of
What's
stuff.
your program? What do you pay on a first mortgage?
Well, that's the thing. I just already have people that are interested in giving me money, but I haven't come up with terms yet. So if you tell me what terms I should tell them, then that'll probably be
Yeah.
what the
Do
terms will be.
you have the free and clear cash machine?
I have, yeah, I bought your package from Black Friday.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So in the module 6 on private money,
Okay.
you have all the marketing tools. You have a private lending Q&A tool, and as
Right.
you customize that private lending Q&A tool, it's going to force you to put your program together. Okay, there's
Right.
no way to go out and get private money unless you tell people what you're offering.
Absolutely, for sure.
Let's go ahead and use 8% interest. And we'll go ahead and go up to a 75% loan to value, 8%. We'll do interest only, no points. Okay.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is we've got to go over here to the loan tab and take the loan out. All I got to do is I got to zero this out and I got to zero this out. These and then I don't have to worry about these other numbers, Jeff. Just I zeroed that out and it clears it. Okay. So our funding, we got our funding, our updates. Let's go ahead and make 7,000 a year, 50,000 minimum. No appreciation for 72 months. By the way, Jeff, you're pretty protected on that one. No appreciation for 72 months. So that's good. All right. And then what do we got here? We're going to start with 15, 12, 9, and 7. Now, what else do I need to know about this deal with the numbers and everything, Candace? Is there anything else I need to know before I run scenarios?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this really applies to the UPG. I mean, I was telling him, like, we were talking about capital gains tax, and he says that everything goes into his IRA. So I don't really even know what to do with that kind of information. He's saying that doesn't apply to him. So I don't know if that has anything to do with
so
the numbers.
this is a landlord.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not concerned about capital gains, right?
Yeah, in this particular case, it seems that way.
Okay. So that's an advantage for him taking his money over time, right?
Right. He's got no HOA. That's another thing I know.
Oh, you got HOA? Okay.
No HOA.
There's no HOA. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
He wants a proof of funds letter, but that has nothing to do with this. That's pretty much it. That's all I know.
Okay.
I mean, I could pull it up I could take a look at it in terms of what's on Zillow, and then I can find out some more info.
No, this is good.
Okay.
All right. So what we can do is I'll go ahead and run a scenario where we just give them enough money to, pay some closing costs. We'll go ahead and give him the net cash flow minus $100. And then we have, why are these prices so high? Why are the prices so high? Because it's got good cash flow.
It's up there.
Yeah, good cash flow is going to push your prices up. So you know what we need to do? You need to increase your profit, man.
Oh no.
All right, let's go ahead and increase your profit. Now, what do you want to do on this? Oh, you are pulling 20 grand out. Oh no, 10. What did we say? 20? All right. What's important to you? Cash now, cash flow, or both?
All the above.
Oh, sorry. A little bit up front, so I can cover my marketing costs. But generally, I mean, long term is the main interest for me, and then covering my upfront costs in the beginning as well. So I have a little bit to put in my pocket, and then the rest of it, I'm mainly interested in building up equity.
How much does it cost in marketing to get a deal?
Well, I mean, for this, it's a little bit different because I just sort of pick these
All
up.
right, okay, so you said you wanted some marketing money reimbursed. How much?
Like let's say 1,000, 2,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
All right, 2,100. Okay. Now on this deal, and you did ask me, are you the one that asked me what's the difference if you're doing all this online?
Well, yeah, that's part of my question because I mean, I'm not really used to postcards. I mean, everything we do is like text blasting. We pull lists and all that. I have VAs that do everything, but so I'm kind of wondering how I would do it virtually, remotely, without actually going to the property.
Right. Yeah. No, you just call them. You can do Zoom calls, but you want to build a relationship with the seller. Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Once your assistant has gathered the information, you want to get on the phone with the seller, go over the information they've gathered, verify things, build some rapport, find out what they're trying to accomplish. How can you help this person, right?
Mhm.
And why don't they just list it? Why don't they just keep it, right? Find out what's important to them,
Right.
and then gather the information you need, to put in the ultimate profit generator. Now, on this
Mhm.
one, you do have an extra 20. That 20 grand, that's not needed for this deal at all. That's your payment for getting the deal. That's
Right.
part of your profits in advance. So on this deal, if they took a 15-year plan, your target profit is 161,000. That's on a 15-year deal.
Okay.
Right now, with you only getting $100 a month cash flow. Okay. He's getting most of the cash flow. He should be really happy because he's probably netting about $400 a month.
Is there any way to modify that, do you reckon? Or is that the best way to go, to just have really low cash flow on my end?
Yeah, no, that's why I was asking you what's important to you, cash
Well,
now or cash flow. Yes. So you have you can give him half the cash flow. You can build in 100 or 200. You can give him all the cash flow. You can give him nothing.
If it's like half, I think that'd be pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's actually what I do a lot. I give them half the cash. Okay.
Right.
All right. And so in this case, we actually have some warnings here. It says what does it say here? Cash later is negative. You'll have to come out of pocket. So increase the payment to the seller, or you could actually increase your profit as well. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and try increasing our profit to 9,000 a year. See if that helps. It fixes it for the longer term ones. Okay. And it's not a big deal.
And I'm just curious because again, sorry, go ahead.
It says that you've collected, $7,600 more than your target profit. That's all.
I'm just wondering why not do longer term, like 30, 20 years. They're fairly short term. and 15 years is sort of the longest I see here. Is that intentional, or what's the reasoning to that?
Because I've done thousands of these deal structuring, and I found that most people don't want to go 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
And a lot more people will go 7, 9, 12, and 15. And we're okay. You know, we want the 15. I'll give you a better answer. Okay. Here's the deal. Here's what I would suggest. Look, this, okay. The offer with your profit target, okay, your profit target's $157,000, okay, over 15 years.
Yep.
And that's if we pay $396 on a property worth $241. So if we go 20 years, it's gonna push up our price even more. In fact, here's our offers. Here's our 15-year offers, $396, right? If we go 20 years, we can still offer $481 and hit our target profit of, and our profit will go up because it's a profit per year. So these are all your offers. Here's what I would recommend you do. Go ahead and make this offer for 15-year price, but do it on a 20-year term.
Okay.
Offer this price for 20 or 30 years.
Right.
Actually, 30 years. Now, this is you understand there's no interest here, right?
Yeah, they're probably going to want interest, because he was saying like I'd want to have some kind of a down payment, and he sort of mentioned briefly interest. So I don't know how that would work.
Let's take a look at that. Let's go ahead and give him a nice down payment of $47,000. How's that?
Yeah. Okay.
And then now what happens is we said we had it at 5. So our private money, you said your private money first mortgage is $52,000 to do this deal with $5,000 down and $20,000 to you and $20,000 in repairs. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's why you need the 52. But if you're bringing in some private money, once you have, you want to get to the position where you got people waiting in line to fund your deals. Okay. That's where you're headed. All right. So if we give him 47,000 down, then that's 35% of the max we can give him down. The max is like 135 down. Okay. So 30 based on loan to value. So now we need $94,000 in private money. Our monthly payment changed because, we got more, we're paying interest only on the private money. So he's still getting $490 and you're getting $490. All right. Now our offer went down to $350. Still pretty good, eh? Right.
I mean, yeah, 90,000 in private money seems pretty high, though. I mean, I don't know. Like, is that considered for this kind of a deal? Is that considered pretty heavy, or is that still pretty reasonable?
It's what's
35%.
It's all the money needed for the deal. What do you know what we need for this deal? We got to give the seller 47,000, right?
Okay.
We need 20,000 in repairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we need 20,000 to you.
Okay.
Right. And then we need our closing and holding costs. So this is just the money that's required. Okay. Now, and $2,100 to you for marketing, right? So if we took out no money to you, then you only need 81,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then if he wants like interest of some kind, then what I
was going to do, let me go ahead and give you your money back, 20,000. Mm-hmm. That's what we had in there, right? 20?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so we need 94, okay? And we still are going to make 152 over 15 years. And our price is, now he's getting 47 down, $490 a month. Right now, it looks like he's netting about $4. Okay. So actually, this is a pretty good offer. Okay. So he's getting some money down. He's getting top dollar. And that's because it is 0% interest. And then the 9-year plan, 278 is still pretty good for a house that's worth 241. Needs some work. So let's go ahead and give them some interest. So we go to over here to the updates tab. Now the applicable federal rate, if you're going to give them interest, that's what I would recommend you do. Right now it's about 0.4% is for up to 9 years. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think I'd have to look it up, but I think it's like 1.3% if you go over 9 years. So that's, I would say, look, if you want interest, I'll go ahead and give you the interest using the federal rate. I don't know what this is, probably 0.2%. I don't know what it is. All right, I could look it up, but I'm going to set up the UPG so it looks it up automatically. It used to do that. You could just select it. It's just the links are broken. The page changed. All right, so now we're offering interest. And here's your prices with interest, okay? Now, you can pay him any interest he wants. It doesn't change the down. It doesn't change the monthly. It changes the balloon and the price. So the price came down. And I like 9 years because we can use the 9-year interest, which is 0.4%. And that's pretty good. That's still good, pretty damn good offer, okay? Now, what if he wanted more interest in that? Okay.
Mhm.
Let's say he wanted 4% interest. We put 4, 4, 4. Okay. And there's our offers with 4% interest. See what it does to our price? In fact, you know what? We have accrued interest. We have accrued interest. It means the payment we're making to him is less than interest only. So we would go ahead, and since we are paying interest, let's go ahead and give him the rent net, see what happens. That's if we just rented it out. Yeah, okay. So in this case, you're only getting 346. He's getting 640. The prices come down because of the interest. He's also getting a lot of money down. So maybe on this type of offer, we offer 15,000 down. That pushes our prices back up. It's worth 240, but we can pay 240 if he finances for 15 years, and we give him his interest. So I wouldn't offer interest unless you have to, or just offer if you want to go in with interest, just use the government rate. Now,
So I just had 2 questions I want to make sure I ask. One of them was that you have that balloon. So when the balloon, and forgive my ignorance, but just to make sure that we're on the same page, balloon at maturity means that's the total due at the end of the 15 years, or
yeah,
I think
here's your AM schedule right here.
Right. So then at that time, the house would be refinanced or sold, basically.
Yeah, what we're thinking is at the end of 15 years, we would sell it. In 15 years, we'd sell it for 263.
363. Yeah.
363. Okay. Now it's worth 265 fixed up now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think in 15 years that it might be worth 363, or do you think that's too high?
It's hard to say because I'm kind of expecting a big correction in the market. So I don't know how long it's going to take to recover from that and how much it'll recover.
Right.
Conceivably.
Right. So there's some things you can do on that. You can change your. We're expecting no appreciation for 72 months, and then 3% after that.
Okay.
All right.
What tab is this? It's updates. It's updates.
Updates.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're assuming no appreciation for 72 months, and then appreciation of 3% on rents and value after that.
Okay.
Traditionally, it's been 4%, but I don't think we're going to see the same type of appreciation as we have seen in the past because baby boomers are retiring. We used to use 48 months here, no appreciation for 4 years. That was good, but now because of post lockdown. We're doing 72. Now, the other thing you can do is let's go ahead and, by the way, let me go ahead and I'm going to show you some post-COVID strategies here. Here's 1% interest. Now, if I go over here on the taxes tab, it actually shows the seller why they should take 0%. Okay. It hasn't been updated, but it's basically showing them that if we give them 1% interest, they're going to pay this much in taxes. Let's see. I'd have to go through that, but it's basically a presentation that, take a look at it and see if it would tell them why 0% is better than taking interest. They get a higher price, but and interest. So they net out the same amount of money, but some of the money they receive is treated as interest. And if they have any taxes on that interest, then they get less. That's kind of what that does. So let me go ahead and take the interest out. Now remember, we had some high prices here, right? And I did up your profit. So the next thing you can do to protect yourself is your resale price. Okay. What if your area, you put a tenant buyer in there and then they didn't close, and then 3 years later you had to put it back on the market? If the prices went down drastically over the next 3 years, give me just a guess of this going down in value. What would you have to sell it for in 3 years?
I mean, if it dropped for Georgia, it probably wouldn't be as bad as some parts of Florida that I saw in 08, but yeah, like, I don't know, 20 to 30% maybe, a really bad case scenario.
Okay.
Depends on the area.
20% is 50. So let's say it was 200, right? Let's say, yeah, I can't even select that. So let's say it went down from 265 now, right, to 210. How's that? That would be a pretty drastic change in the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the good news is you're paying the seller on a note. And if prices went down like that, guess who knows prices went down like that? The seller. Everybody would know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, we're working together on this. My rents went down, or my buyer wants to close and he's not coming with enough money because the value went down. Work with me on this. Let me sell the property for what I can sell it for now, for the 210, and let's adjust your note so it makes sense for me. Otherwise, I can give you the house. That type of thing. So you always have someone you can negotiate, and if they know that everything went to hell in a handbasket, you're going to have some flexibility there. So you always have flexibility when you're dealing with sellers. And now let's take a look at your offers. Now it's worth 265, but you're planning on selling it for 210 in 3 years. Let's see what happens in 15 years. Now we're planning on selling it for 275. You see how that works? It's worth 265, but now it's only worth 275 after 15 years. That's what it's planning for. And if you're still got a profit of 168, and look at your offers here. Not bad, eh?
Pretty solid.
So anything above 241 is pretty good. Actually, they would net with an agent. Well, I don't know if that's correct. But maybe, I'd have to see if we're using our exit price or the actual value. Yeah, it's using our 200,000 as a quick sell price. That's not correct. So the sell net sheet's not working because I screwed up. I'm using a future, down price. But it's worth 241 now, and we can offer 253 as is on a 12-year plan. Any other questions on that?
Well, I did have two things. One was, is there a really easy way to reset this back to normal, like for the next time around? Is there a reset button?
Here's what I recommend you do is I set, for Jeff, okay? We went through all the tabs, set everything up. All right. And then you save that, and then that's your template, okay?
Okay.
Then when you open it, you immediately save it as, and then the property address.
Okay.
And
The other thing I wanted to ask was, as far as the positioning for private money, if their seller is savvy and they're an investor themselves, they realize that it's not really advantageous for them to be in second position on their property. How do you have that conversation with them? And are they always in second position? Could you elaborate on that conversation? Because it's not everyone's always going to be willing to take second position.
right. And that's information we get. So again, in that FAQ series, we cover this, what if this, we cover that. All right. What if the seller won't take a second? Okay. So, and it's also how to do deals without private money. There's a couple answers to that. So I tell the seller that in order for me to get you this price, I got to bring in a money partner, and they need to be in first position. Okay. And then you spell out all the benefits again and say, so in order, so do you still want to go forward with these price and terms? And you ask them. So you give them reasons to be in second position. Number one, they have to be in order for you to do the deal with these price and terms. And then the other benefits of you buying the house. And then, are you okay with that? Right? And what if they say no? Right?
Right.
Right? What if they say no? I'm not going to be in second position. I need to be in first.
Right.
Right? Okay. So what is a possible solution?
Well, I mean, you could try to remove the down payment element of it and then just work off of interest. So it's either price, term. This would be playing with the term levers, basically. It's like, okay, if you have to be in first, then I'll just well, two ways I could think of. One would be that I would try to bring them in as the private money, so they would fund the first, they would then be in first position on the down payment that they're paying themselves, basically. Another way would be to remove the down payment altogether and then just increase interests. But I don't know how much they'd go for that, because then their argument would be, well, you don't have any skin in the game.
Well, you're creating a bunch of potential objections, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So it's good to know what you're going to do in all those different situations. But if you're dealing with someone that throws the entire book at you, here's an objection, you handle that. Here's another one. Here's another one. Yeah. It's you're not going to buy that house. You don't have enough rapport. They're not motivated. They're not flexible enough. But yeah, all of those are good. So, and that you're exactly right. So very good job. All right. So number one, let's take a deal. This deal is they want to do 287.8. They'll take the 15,000 down. They like the 940 a month, and they love the price, right? And so at the end, they get a balloon payment for 103. So that's the offer. They like that. So, but they don't want to be in second position. So when we go to the contract, that's usually when they find out they're in second position. Is we spell it out in the agreement. Okay. So we tell them we need $62,000, for a purchase money loan, is basically what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's very common, right? People get a purchase money loan. It's like purchase money loan. And I might have mentioned something like I have a money partner or something like that along the way, but it's like, okay, yeah, my money partner is coming to the table with $62,000 to fund this deal, and they require, to have a lien on the property. So that's the first mortgage, and then the balance of your money, this note amount of 272. I'm going to give you 15,000. and then the 272 note, and that'll be that'll be secured on the property behind the first mortgage. So and then that's when the objection might come up. Okay, you'll be
Right.
surprised how often it doesn't come up.
You,
And then-
you don't find that comes up every time? It's like rarely
What?
it comes up? It doesn't come up that often, you're saying?
No, it doesn't. See, a lot of these things that you think are a concern
Yeah.
are not a concern, but you need to know when they do come up how to handle them. And if you can't handle them, you don't buy the deal, because you want to be
Awesome.
transparent, you want to be honest, you want to be open, but you don't need to. You don't know all of their underlying reasons why this works for them, why they
Right.
want to do it, why they need to sell the house. You'll never know all of that. So you just tell them what you can do. You lay it out for them and in the simplest terms possible. And if everything works, you got a deal, right? And then if you have an objection, like I want to be in first position, then you want to have some options. So say, great. Well, look, in order for me to, fix, the house needs, we agree, it needs 20 grand in work, it needs a bunch of work. I'm going to, if I'm going to fix it up, and if I'm going to give you 15,000 down, okay, and in order for me to pay this price, I need to be able to hold this property long term. I'm actually giving you a premium because we're going 15 years. I can't do that unless I'm in a position. I can't operate unless I can't wait 15 years for all my money. So I get some of my money, when I buy for operating. In this case, you got 20,000, right?
Mhm.
It allows you to buy and hold and wait long term. So that's if you got into the details. But the basic thing is, I need 62,000 to fund this deal. If you wanted to be my private investor, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pay my private investor 9% interest on. Oh, wait a minute. What do we got? 8%. We're using
I think
8%.
it was 8. I think it was 8.
8%. So I'm actually going to pay my money partner 8% on that 62,000. So if you want, what I can do is I can give you a note for 62,000 at 8%, and the payments on that are 400. That's an extra $412 a month to you, okay? And then what you would do is, instead of loaning me 62, you would give me the 62 minus the 15 I was going to give you. All right, so you're actually getting, you're getting 8% on your down payment. Okay.
Mhm.
And then that will allow me to close the deal, and you'll have a first mortgage at 8%, paying $412, and then you'll have a second mortgage, okay, paying you $940 a month. Now, are you in a position to even consider something like that?
Right.
They say
Okay.
no. They say no. All right. Well, tell me what works for you. Tell me what we need to do. I got to be in first position. I'm told I have to be in first position. Okay. Well, tell you what, I'll go back. I can't, in order for me to do that, I would have to pull money out of other deals and everything. So I'd have to figure out how to do that. Let me go back to the drawing board. If this doesn't work for you, I'll see what I can do to get you, what it would take for me to get you in first position. I can do that, but the price on the property will come down, but it should be still real attractive. You want me to work on it. And then you have to go back to the drawing board. So let's go ahead and save this. And then what you got to do is you got to go back and figure out how can you eliminate your need for cash, right? And have it as a self-funding deal. What did you say was the options? Have the seller do it, or what else? What was the other one you said?
To remove the down payment altogether.
Oh yeah, remove the down payment. Okay, so let's do that. But how are you going to fix up the property, right?
Well, I mean, the down payment as far as going to the seller.
Right, but
You know,
where's the money going to come from for 20,000 in fix up?
well, the one way I could do it would be to advertise it as a fixer upper or a handyman special.
Right. Okay. If it's worth 265 fixed up and it needs 20, what would you accept as is? Would you accept 240?
All right, probably somewhere in that neighborhood, I'd imagine.
Okay. All right. And now, in order for him to be in first position, he's going to have to wait for his money until you get your buyer lined up.
Mhm.
So you don't have hold costs there. And since you're going to do all this for him, you're going to go ahead and up your profit. Well, we're already at 9,000 a year. Let's see here. Now we're down to like $3,860 with no money down. We gave him half the cash flow. Is prices are too high.
Need more profit.
Wait a minute. Do I have the right value? Fixed up value?
The as is was 240, and then the 265 was the fixed
Oh,
up.
what do you think? Yeah, what do you think the as is value is?
As is was, like I said earlier, I think it's 240. That's what he was
Yeah.
selling it out now.
Right.
I mean, if I bargained with him, I could probably get that down. I don't know, 235, 230 maybe.
Well,
but
you don't
probably.
bargain on the as is value. It's what.
Yeah. No,
Doesn't matter.
sorry, I missed. I was saying asking price. Never mind. I confused it. Yeah, as is 240.
Okay. All right. 240, and why the profits are way too big. Let's see. 163. Let's go with 9-year deal. Let's go with a 12-year deal. 130,000. That's not bad. 12 years. Well, oh, that's no money down. Oh, it's him being that is in order for him to be in first position. Yeah. Okay. And we did let's go ahead and give him all the cash flow minus 200. Pretty good. That's 12, 9, 7, 5. What's wrong with his pitcher, Kenneth? Oh, no interest. There's no interest. But that's you can do this. So that would require you to come out of pocket about $4,000, which you can get from your buyer, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting you some cash flow. Oh yeah, so you're not collecting any cash up front on the deal because you don't have private money, right? So you want to get good at handling the objection when it does come up, and then yes, you can. One of the options is to have them be it, and if you can't overcome it, then yeah, you got to go back and figure out, okay, how can I eliminate the cash I need on this deal so it's self-funding? But in that case, you really, since you're not collecting money up front, you really should go ahead and build in some nice cash flow. So in this case, you'd be getting almost $800 a month, right? Positive cash flow.
Right.
That would no money down. And
Richard, what do you typically, if somebody sort of says, I want to be in first position, what's your go-to? You know, your go-to response in terms of how you structure the offer in response to that, if you can't get them off of that thinking.
The first thing I would ask is, have you ever done seller financing before?
Mm-hmm. No, I haven't.
Okay. So you want to be in first position in order to do what?
I just don't want to be in second position because it's my house, and I don't want to be in second position on my own house.
Like in case so I didn't take care of the first mortgage.
Yeah.
And then you have to, you would have to take care of them, right? You'd
It would
have
put me in a bad position. Yeah, I wouldn't be protected. Basically, the person in first position has all the protection and all that. Second position, I get scraps basically.
Well, actually, I'm in third position.
What do you mean?
In order to protect my position, have to protect you just like you have to protect the first. So yeah, if you're concerned about that, we can figure out what you're concerned about and do whatever we need to, make you feel comfortable. Okay. But in order for me to, do this offer with the money down and to buy it as is with the repairs that are needed and to give you this price for going, to go long term, I got to bring in a money partner and they do need to be in first position. So we have a couple choices. We could figure out how I can eliminate my need for cash on the deal and go ahead and buy it that way, right? Or, do whatever you want in the paperwork so that you feel protected.
I really like how you actually said that I'm actually in third position. So for me, for that to work, first and second position have to be solid because I'm in third.
That's
So,
very good.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I like that.
And this comes out of those frequently asked questions that we did because I've heard it all. I've heard it all. We've gotten it all. There's some things we can't overcome, right? But this is how you overcome it: is you get good on answering, having different options. So that is a common question. So I'm going to upload those frequently asked questions to your Repodia account, and right now they're on YouTube. So whenever you get a chance, you're asking very good common questions, and we start with there's 7 videos on YouTube, and just start with number 1. I think, let's see.
What do you type into YouTube to find it? Just Richard
Oh,
Roop? Or?
If you just go to richardroop.com or Rupodia and you just click on the YouTube link, but let me go ahead and show you. I'll show you the site. Okay, so it's the Richard Roop. So youtube.com.
The Richard Roop.
The Richard Roop, right. So if you go to Repodia, let's see, and you go to Roop links, and it's right here, YouTube, and there it is. Okay, that's the channel. That's because I'm logged in. Oh, oh, you know what? I think I'm doing live on the wrong channel. No, we're live on YouTube. Oh, cool, man. All right.
Awesome.
All right. So my channel, if you go to the videos, okay.
Yep.
These are real good right here. These 5x5, what's working best now panels. Those are real good. All right, here it is. FAQ number 7, right? FAQ number. All right. So number 1, if we pay top dollar, how do we make our money? Number 2 is, what if I invest in real estate to make, I can't even read this.
And you said you're going to pull these down?
What if the market goes down? Yeah. What if the market goes down? How will I know I make my money? When I pay top dollar, I kind of covered that. Does it work without private money? There you go. Why would a seller do owner financing? What is owner financing? Why would the seller take a second position? There you go. There you go, buddy.
Awesome.
It's in there. It's in there.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any questions from anybody on what we just did? Damien, how we doing?
Doing pretty good. Larry brought up a pretty good point for something. If we're putting together numbers for an offer on UPG, and there's a big difference in the taxes. So she has a seller that's homesteaded, has very low taxes, but if she was to buy it, those taxes are going to be more than quadruple what the seller's currently paying.
Then you use the quadruple taxes. So the taxes that you put in there is not current taxes. You put in the taxes that you think you're going to pay.
Yeah. I think she was looking at if she was printing out the seller net sheet, those numbers are going to be different from her seller's actual stuff.
Yeah, it's going to mess up the seller net sheet. So you'll either have to adjust the seller net sheet or explain it to the seller. This this is actually my taxes. You're not paying that, but I am. So you're getting an extra $300 or whatever. So just that, I'd actually just print out the one that applies to me and say, this applies to me, but yeah. So but you know, it's to your, and then I'd just point out the differences.
Yeah.
Or you can, you know, just customize it so you don't have to, you know, talk about the difference. You can do the seller net sheet using their taxes. But I haven't, I'd have to make sure that, you know, if you change the taxes, I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know how our offers relate to the seller net sheet. So, because they'll change our offers when we change that.
Yep.
All right, what else?
That's really about it. No other questions in chat.
No other questions in chat. Okay, does anybody have any questions? You can put them in chat real quick or unmute yourself and ask a question. Holy cow. Have we been going for an hour and 53 minutes?
Yep.
I'm about to run out of Zoom recording space. All right. And if it goes over 2 hours, I'll have to cut it. There might be some stuff I want to cut anyways. Who's got some questions? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Say Max just asked, he received a care package from the team with a bunch of programs. Looks like he may have won something. So can he have those turned on in Rupodia as well?
Oh, okay. He got a package of stuff from us.
Yep.
Okay. You know what? I have about 70 more packages to ship out. I've been gone a week and I got them done the day before I left, but I haven't been able to print out the shipping labels. I have 70 of these packages. They're all priority mailboxes, including yours, Damien. I didn't send yours. And because you have it all online, but I most of those packages have the same thing in it. I might figure out a way to do that, but in the meantime, send me an email of what you've got, and I'll be happy to turn them on. If you own them now, I'll be happy to turn them on. Yeah, you just need to email me, send me a list of titles you want turned on that you own. In fact, anybody who's listening to this now, if you own any of my courses, if you bought them, you paid for them, and you own them, or I gave them to you, you know, you own them, but they're not turned on. And this is going back to my clients all the way back to like 2000, okay? 2000, 2001, when I kind of got started. The 5-figure paycheck course. I have the audios and stuff on. I don't have the manuals and stuff on and all the tools. So I'm putting together some of the old packages. I'm working with some of the newer ones. I have a lot of stuff that I haven't turned on because it's not really ready. But if you know it's not ready, it doesn't have a manual or whatever, and you own it, I'll go ahead and turn it on and say, yeah, I haven't published it yet, but yeah, here, go ahead and access it. And then there's a lot of stuff that I already have published and accessible. So anybody, if you own some programs, go to Rupodia.com, and any programs that you own, go ahead and email me and ask if you can have them turned on. And if they're available, I'll turn them on.
All right. You know, here's a great question just came up from Scott. I hadn't thought about this, but have you run into any issues that come up where the deed is filed on a $250,000 property, but our offer was $375,000? Do they do a reassessment of the taxes based upon our offer price that we've given the seller? Does that show as the sale price?
Does the high price that you pay on a property, does that increase the taxes on it?
Yeah, will that cause a reassessment on the taxes and cause the taxes to go up?
It's possible. It's never been an issue. I've never heard of it being an issue. I think I heard someone complain, like their neighbor complained or something, that, hey, if you sold it for that much, they were worried about their taxes being raised, but it didn't like happen yet. But but a higher purchase price will increase the value of property. which will help you on the selling side. And it actually might increase the value of the neighborhood. Now, your neighbors might not like that. But no, it's not really an issue, but it's interesting. I've discussed that before. And by the way, when you fill out that property transfer form and you send it off to the tax assessor, that's what I did in Colorado. When we bought a property, there was a real estate transfer declaration where they ask you, was there any seller financing? Was there any special concessions? And we would put on there, yes, 0% financing. We paid a premium because of long-term 0% financing. Yeah, there was seller financing, right? So actually, if you have a place to tell the tax assessor that, do so. And if tax assessor ever tries to raise your taxes, contest it and say, look, these are the comps. I paid this price because of the financing, and show them your numbers. And you should be able, if it ever became an issue, I think you could handle it.
Let's see, a couple of things.
And we're going to have to end this pretty quick. Any other questions for today?
Keenan had asked a question in chat here. So when you purchase at that price, then sell to a buyer, you're selling at the resale price plus interest, right?
The buyer?
Yeah. And then it says, so if you bought a $470,000 property at $650 and then you resell at $498 plus interest, I think the question is kind of, all right, how do we justify the difference between our offer price and what we're selling for?
Who?
This was Kian.
No, but who are we justifying it to?
Well, it's not necessarily like justification. I'm wondering, how do you position it when you're getting your end buyer? Let's say you're doing seller financing, not a rent to own. So if you're doing it all principal to your seller and you're selling it to your buyer, how do you structure? Do you do the same thing for the buyer, or are you just going to do the resale price and interest instead of it all being in principal?
Okay, when you're offering seller financing to your buyer,
Right.
they're paying interest.
Right. So the price will then be 498 plus 498 at 3% or 7% interest or something like that.
The resale price is whatever you put as your projected resale price, which is going to be lower than your purchase price if in normal cases.
Right. Okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and pull up the UPG here. All right, let me share that. All right, so I'm going to the new tab here. Let's see. All right, so in this case, our resale price, okay, this was, all right, let's say that the as is 240, but we're going to sell it for 247.5. Okay, so that's our resale price, 247.5. Now, our purchase price is 379, right? So our purchase price is 379, but our resale price is 247.
Right.
So, what's your question on it?
So that's pretty much just clarification. So your purchase price is going to be higher because it's all in principal, but then when you resell it, it's going to be the resale price with interest. So you're giving your seller the benefit of not having to pay the taxes and interest, but you're going to sell it and take interest. So actually, if you wrap and resell, or not necessarily wrap, but if you sell to a buyer seller finance immediately, then the county will see it as a 650K purchase and then a 498 purchase, or I'm sorry, a 247 purchase, right?
Right. Which is actually I don't, when I sell with typically when I sell with seller financing to my buyer, I don't record anything because normally I put their deed in escrow with an attorney, and it's recorded after they pay me off. Okay. So if you do record a wraparound mortgage or a all-inclusive deed of trust, then the price will be on public record. And yes, there will be two sales. It'll show your purchase and then their purchase. Okay. And I really have never sold that way. I've always put a land contract in deed and escrow. But if you did that, yeah, there'd be two transfers. That's fine. What's important to know is the reason why you can sell it for less than you bought it for is because you have a substitution of collateral clause that allows you to take that seller's note that over leverages the property, which is actually more than the buyer, right? Why would a buyer allow you to wrap more than they owe you? And it's because you have a substitution of collateral clause. So when you're ready to close, actually, you know what? That is kind of an interesting issue. They own the property, it's wrapped. So if they ever wanted to, get clear title from you, because they owe you a mortgage, but your mortgage wraps your private money first, your owner
Right.
care second. You're obligated to take your payoff from them and then take care of your first and your second. Okay. So nothing changes there. When they do that, when they want to pay you off, you have to give them clear title. So you're going to pay off your private money first or them, but you're usually going to pay them off. And then that seller, you are going to get a release and give them a new note or multiple notes on other properties. So it doesn't really affect the buyer. So if you need any verbiage in your paperwork to explain that, then that's fine. But I've never had to do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Answer the question. Okay, guys, are we done? Anything else? Was this helpful? Did you guys learn anything? Go ahead and unmute yourself and give me any feedback or say goodbye or whatever.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, great call.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, good. We should.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, Richard, I remember I had kind of asked the same question, and I remember you showed me one of the sheets in the UPG which showed the early payoff amount.
Yeah.
Seller.
Yeah, and actually, that FAQ series, I think that's when I actually created those tabs in the UPG. Was when I'm creating the equity tab. It was so I could demonstrate it for that call. It's already in the UPG. So yeah, there's a lot more in those FAQs to give you, to answer any other questions that you may have. I wish it was a lot simpler. But it does create a lot of questions. But I got to tell you, the more you do it or the more you're involved with it, you'll find that you'll ask those right questions and you'll learn. Okay. That's why I really like working with people like with our coaching and stuff like that and doing calls like this, is because you can bring the questions to the table and I can knock them out. It sounds like I knocked out a lot of questions that people had that really are going to help them have more confidence moving forward and, whatever they need to do more deals. Is that it? We done?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I might save the appreciation deal structuring for next time, so we can record it and have an example.
Yeah, what were we gonna do?
So I was just going to use this one as an example where it's a subject to possibly pay them a down payment for the amount of the equity in the property, but knowing that that area is appreciating because there's a house being built nearby that's like $800,000.
Oh yeah. Okay, Keon, you said that you wanted to take into account some short-term appreciation.
Right.
I was going to beat you up. So yeah. Let's go ahead and do it a better way. I mean, I was going to see how we can do that with the UPG without beating you up. How's that? Okay. Yes, we can save it for next time, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right. Good. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Damien. Appreciate your help. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. we'll get the replay up there in Repodia.com here within the next 24 hours.
Sounds good. Thanks, Richard.
All right. Yeah. If you're watching this live or you're watching a replay live on Facebook or YouTube, in order to get the replay, because those will come down, I think, in order to get the replay, you can get that for free by going to repodio.com/free. Click on this call, the Q&A call, and just turn on access. If you don't have an account, by getting something free, you'll create an account. And then when we put the replay up, you'll have the access to this call. When we do these deal structuring calls, if I'm going to try and, edit some things that can go in the library as a resource. If we have a good tight thing like a question, we handle it real quickly using the UPG, and it's a common question, I'll put that as a resource in the library, which you can find that topic. So recording these things, we're working towards that. We have a lot of other things that we point people to, like those FAQ calls that we point people to. So our big library is not to consume everything. It's like we can point you to what you need when you need it. What I want to do between now and boot camp at the end of January, which we're going to announce in about a week, we're going to open up registration, is we want to create some updated training on the ultimate profit generator in writing and then on shorter videos, and have a very easy to access library. Right now, if you've got access to the training videos, just go through all of them because it's all going to help you. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. We will, if you're in coaching, we have an intergame call Thursday night. I'll send you the link to that. That's private for coaching clients. It's on the secrets of creating amazing results. It's on our accountability model. Great call with me and Coach Mark Thursday night. The link will be in the private Facebook group for coaching members, and I will email that Zoom link to you as well. All right. Good night. Have a great one. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Richard.